You thought the nightmare was over. You thought everyone made it out. And just when the screen fades to black and you exhale, it hits. That whistle, that snowy lodge, those flickering screens. Until Dawn doesn't just end, it teases. Hard. And if you're here, you're probably still replaying those final seconds in your head. What did it mean? Is Dr. Hill alive? Was this a setup for the game? A sequel? Or something bigger? In this breakdown, we're diving deep into the Until Dawn movie's post-credits scene. We'll unpack every visual, every audio cue, and every hidden clue. We'll explore theories, fan reactions, and what this final moment could mean for the future of the franchise. And here's the truth. This isn't just a tacked-on stinger. This scene is a loaded trigger, pulling us into a possible shared horror universe, fueled by fear, looping time, and a mastermind that might be far from dead. So, stick with me. We're decoding this scene from top to bottom, and you won't look at it the same way again. Let's rewind to the moment the credits roll. Clover and her friends have escaped. Dr. Hill has exploded from within. His experiment turned against him. The night is over. The curse is broken. Or so it seems. Because then, the screen cuts to black. Silence. And just when you think it's safe to leave your seat, that whistle. The same eerie tune Dr. Hill was known for throughout the movie. It starts faint, like a distant echo. Then it grows louder, sharper. And with it, the screen cuts back on. We're not in Glore Valley anymore. The camera zooms in on a series of dusty monitors. They flicker violently, old CRT-style screens, the kind used for security surveillance. One shows a dark, snow-covered forest. Another, a narrow road winding through the mountains. Then, headlights. A vehicle appears, slowly pulling into frame. It parks in front of what looks like a wooden lodge. Tall, ominous, half buried in snow. A group of people steps out, new faces, unfamiliar. They don't say a word. They just walk toward the building as the camera angle shifts inside the lodge. Now we're looking at a control room. It's eerily similar to the one Dr. Hill used in the Glore Valley house. Same monitors, same desk, same setup, and scattered across that desk, papers, diagrams, file folders. One folder is marked Joshua Washington, a direct reference to the Until Dawn video game central character, played by Rami Malek. It's not just a callback, it's confirmation. The lodge we're seeing is the Washington Lodge, and this story is far from over. The camera lingers as the whistle continues. Then, just before fading out, one of the monitors flashes static, and an image appears. A shadowed silhouette. We don't see his face, but based on the posture, the clothing, the setting, it's implied to be Dr. Hill, or someone or something that's taken his place. Then, total blackout. End. No jump scare, no final scream, just that unsettling, unresolved tone. Like the loop has begun again, but this time in the snow. On the surface, the post-credit scene feels simple. New setting, new people, same whistle. But Until Dawn doesn't do anything by accident. Every detail in that final minute is carefully placed to send a message. Let's break them down. 1. The whistle. This is your first red flag. The whistle isn't just creepy background noise, it's a signature. In the film, Dr. Hill's whistle always preceded control, manipulation, or a reveal of power. Hearing it again after his supposed death implies one thing: his presence continues. Whether he's physically alive or not is up for debate. But symbolically, the whistle means the game isn't over. 2. The CRT monitors. These old-school surveillance monitors are a callback to the film's control room, where Dr. Hill observed the group like rats in a maze. In the post-credit scene, we see the exact same tech. It's not coincidence, it's continuity, and it raises questions. Is this a replica of the Glore Valley lab? Or has the experiment gone mobile? 3. The Snowy Lodge. For fans of the video game, this setting needs no introduction. It's the Washington Lodge, the heart of the Until Dawn game. That specific snowy mountain, the wood-paneled cabin, the isolated silence, it's the same location. The choice to end the film here connects the movie directly to the game's universe. This isn't just a nod, it's an anchor point for franchise expansion. 4. The new group. We don't hear names, we don't get dialogue, but the new group's arrival is deliberate. The implication is clear. The experiment is continuing with new test subjects. It's no longer just about Clover and her friends. The cycle is repeating with a fresh cast and possibly even harsher conditions. 5. The Joshua Washington file. This might be the biggest Easter egg in the entire film. Joshua Washington is a main character from the game. He's the psychological heart of the original story. Seeing his name among Dr. Hill's papers suggests that Hill had some role in the game's events. It blurs the line between the movie and game timelines, hinting at a shared mythos. 6. The final silhouette. That dark figure appearing just before fade out, it might be Hill, it might be a copycat, or it might be something else, someone new continuing the work. The ambiguity is what makes it brilliant. Whoever it is, they're watching, and they're ready to begin again. So how exactly does this post-credit scene tie into the original Until Dawn game? At first glance, it seems to set up a direct connection. The Snowy Lodge, the name Joshua Washington, the eerie, game-faithful atmosphere. But what makes this truly interesting is the ambiguity. It could be a sequel, a prequel, or a reimagined universe where the experiments are global. Let's break down each possibility. Some fans believe the movie takes place before the game. This theory suggests that Dr. Hill's experiments in Glore Valley were his earlier trials. He failed to fully convert Clover and her group, but learned enough to refine his methods. The Snowy Lodge we see in the post-credit scene? That could be the Washington estate, prepped for the next phase. The presence of the Joshua Washington folder supports this. Maybe Hill was studying the Washington family long before the events of the game unfolded. This theory also gives the filmmakers room to develop backstories for existing game characters, showing how they were unknowingly manipulated even before the game began. Others suggest the movie is a sequel. In this theory, Hill survived the events of the game and relocated the experiment. The ending of the game is somewhat open-ended depending on choices players make, so it's not impossible to imagine Hill, or a version of him, surviving. This would mean the movie is continuing the story, but with a new cast of characters. That final scene, showing new victims arriving at the lodge, could be the start of a second generation of terror. The third and most compelling theory is that Until Dawn, both game and film, are part of a larger shared universe. Maybe Dr. Hill is just one of many architects running experiments around the world. Maybe fear is being studied on a global level. Every location, every group, every scenario is designed around the specific psychological profiles of the subjects. Think of it like the cabin in the woods, but more personal and recurring. This would explain the time loops, the varied monsters, the way the horror adapts to individual trauma. It's not a single timeline. It's a pattern, a ritual, a system. And if that's true, Until Dawn isn't just a franchise. It's a blueprint for something much bigger. One of the biggest questions left hanging in the post-credit scene is simple. Is Dr. Hill really dead? Because technically, we watched him explode, his mug poisoned with that cursed water. It was brutal, graphic, and seemingly final. But horror logic isn't bound by real-world rules, and Until Dawn never plays by them anyway. Let's consider the evidence. The whistle still echoes. We've said it before, but it matters. The whistle is more than a sound cue. It's a symbol of control. It's always been associated with Dr. Hill's presence. So when we hear it at the end, after his supposed death, it implies his essence lives on. Whether it's the same man, a clone, a copycat, or a manifestation of the experiment, his influence clearly remains. Is this a psychological projection or digital replica? This is where theories get wild. Some believe Dr. Hill figured out how to project his consciousness into the loop itself. He becomes part of the system, able to watch and manipulate from anywhere. That would explain why his voice, whistle, and methods persist even after his body is gone. Another angle, he wasn't working alone. What if there's a network? Other operators running similar experiments in different places. The Dr. Hill we saw in Glore Valley may have just been one version. The post-credits silhouette could be another handler entirely, trained in the same technique, carrying on his legacy. Talking about the silhouette on the monitor. That blurry figure shown on the monitor at the very end isn't revealed, but its presence is chilling. They stand the same way Hill did. The lab coat, the posture. It's a mirror image. This could mean one of three things. He faked his death. Maybe he anticipated Clover's retaliation and switched mugs. Horror characters cheat death all the time. It's someone new taking his place. The system needs an operator. Dr. Hill may be dead, but his work continues, now under someone else's watch. He was never just a man. If you want to get philosophical, maybe Hill is an archetype, a recurring role played by different people in every timeline. His death is simply one cycle ending and another beginning. In all three cases, the message is clear. Dr. Hill may be gone, but his control is not. The post-credit scene makes it clear. The puppet master might change, but the strings are still being pulled. The post-credit scene didn't just tease a continuation, it lit a fuse. Online, fans are already dissecting it frame by frame, trading theories, and speculating about what's coming next. Let's break down the three dominant theories and what they could mean for Until Dawn as a full-blown horror franchise. Many fans believe that what we saw at the end wasn't a new experiment, it was the same one, relocating. They argue that Clover and her friends may have broken out of their loop, but fear as an energy, as a force, still needs hosts. The Snowy Lodge is just the next arena. The idea here is that there's no end to the experiment, just resets. This fits with how trauma often feels, like a cycle you can't escape. In that way, the film becomes a metaphor for generational fear. Different faces, same torment. Another group of fans sees the post-credit scene as a potential hub for a shared horror universe. Not just one story, but a collection of stories. The appearance of the Washington Lodge, the reference to Joshua, and the surveillance equipment all point to something bigger, something coordinated. This would open the door for spin-offs based on other characters or locations, each exploring different horror tropes, just like this film juggled slasher, possession, monster, and psychological subgenres. It'd be the Dark Pictures anthology, but cinematic. One of the most compelling theories is that this movie is a direct prequel to the game. With the snowy cabin tying back to Until Dawn's original setting, fans suggest that the post-credit scene leads us into the game. Dr. Hill may have been experimenting on Clover's group to prepare for a much bigger test, the Washingtons. That would make this film the secret origin story of the Wendigo curse, the psychology-driven horror, and the mechanics of fear-based manipulation we see in the game. If that's true, then the post-credit scene is less of a tease and more of a handoff. Regardless of which theory holds weight, one thing is certain: the post-credit scene wasn't just fan service. It was a signal that Until Dawn isn't a one-off. It's a concept, a formula, a universe. Whether it continues in sequels, tie-ins, or game crossovers, the potential is massive. And if done right, it could give horror fans what they rarely get: a layered, interconnected world where fear evolves and characters matter beyond the final scream. So what's your take on the Until Dawn post-credit scene? Do you think Dr. Hill is still alive? Is the Snowy Lodge a sequel setup or a clever prequel to the game? Drop your wildest theory in the comments. I'll be pinning the most mind-blowing one. And if you're enjoying these deep horror dives, make sure to subscribe. We break down everything from hidden plot twists to multi-layered universe theories. Also, if you know someone who missed that final scene, send them this video. And comment, "I just shared." The experiment isn't over. The loop is still spinning. And somewhere, someone's about to wake up again. Until next time, stay alive, stay sharp, and never trust a quiet whistle.